Even as we grieve, we give thanks for this most faithful life. I am deeply aware of this great inheritance and of the duties and heavy responsibilities of sovereignty.
What if the woman King Charles III fought the entire monarchy to be with, ended up quietly working against his own son, the future King Prince William? That idea alone sounds unreal. But people are starting to look closer and ask questions. What if behind those perfect royal photos, those polished smiles, those carefully planned appearances, there was something colder happening behind palace doors? Not just tension, but a calculated power struggle. Something so bold, so personal, it reportedly pushed William into serious anger, while Charles, already dealing with illness, was left feeling crushed. The cracks aren't small anymore. They're impossible to ignore. In September 2025, reports started spreading about Charles and Queen Camilla, and the claims shocked people. One insider didn't hold back, saying the marriage is over in everything but name. That's not just gossip, that's a direct hit. According to those reports, Camilla spends most of her time at Ray Mill, while Charles stays at Highgrove or Clarence House. That's not a normal marriage. That's two people living separate lives while keeping up appearances for the world. It starts to look less like love and more like a public arrangement. Camilla originally bought Ray Mill House back in 1994 after her divorce from Andrew Parker Bowles, and she never let it go, even after moving in with Charles years later. That detail matters, because now it looks like she always kept one foot outside the royal setup. At the same time, Charles has been dealing with serious health issues, including cancer. While he's trying to manage his condition and keep up with royal duties, reports say he's been spending more time at Highgrove focusing on recovery. That alone would be heavy, but what's happening around him makes it even worse. Meanwhile, Camilla has reportedly been seen relaxing on luxury trips, even sunbathing on a yacht in the Mediterranean. That contrast didn't go unnoticed. People started asking, why is she away during one of the hardest moments of his life? Some sources claim Charles feels hurt by this distance, not just physically, emotionally too. And after giving Camilla financial security within the palace, there are whispers that he might be getting taken advantage of. That's where things start turning uncomfortable. This doesn't feel like normal space in a relationship. It feels strategic. Camilla enjoying freedom and luxury, while Charles is left dealing with illness and responsibility alone? That's the kind of situation that makes people start connecting dots fast. When these reports surfaced, it wasn't just the public reacting. William reportedly had a strong response too. And honestly, that makes sense. The palace hasn't confirmed anything officially. But when insiders keep repeating the same thing, separate lives, distant marriage, people start believing there's truth behind it. Then the story takes an even darker turn. The cancer situation. In early 2024, Charles was diagnosed, and while the palace kept details limited, the seriousness was clear. Publicly, Camilla stood beside him, showing support, keeping the image strong. But behind the scenes, a different story started circulating. According to insiders, William was frustrated because he felt Camilla was more focused on her own position than on Charles's well-being. That's a heavy accusation. William reportedly wanted his father to slow down, take a break, and focus fully on recovery. That's a son thinking about his father's health. But instead, reports claimed Camilla continued with her own plans, even taking private trips during that period. That didn't sit right with a lot of people. And inside royal circles, the whispers only got louder through 2025. Some tried to defend Camilla, saying she was respecting Charles's independence. But others weren't convinced at all. There's a big difference between giving someone space and leaving them alone when they're at their lowest. And that's exactly how some people are framing it now. William understands that kind of pain more than most. He lost his mother, Princess Diana, and carried that emotional weight for years. So seeing his father in a vulnerable state, that hits differently. And from his perspective, this wasn't just about distance. It felt like abandonment. That's why some are calling it the cancer betrayal. Not a small issue, but something that changed relationships inside the royal family for good. But here's where things really escalate: the power struggle. Because according to certain insider claims, this isn't just about personal tension, it's about control. Some reports suggest Camilla doesn't want William to take the throne anytime soon. Instead, she allegedly prefers Charles to stay king as long as possible. Why? Because after years of public criticism, she finally reached the top, and she's not ready to let that go. There are even claims from a former royal photographer that Camilla has influenced Charles to keep William in check. That's serious. If true, It means decisions inside the monarchy aren't just about tradition, but about pressure behind the scenes. Think about that for a second. A king, already dealing with health struggles, possibly being influenced against his own son. That's not just family drama. That's power politics. Another royal insider claimed there was even some kind of agreement. Charles reportedly asked William to cooperate with Camilla's direction, while William would handle other family tensions, including issues involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. That sounds less like a family conversation, and more like a negotiation. At first, William reportedly went along with it. But now, that patience might be running out. Sources say he's furious, and not quietly either. And then there's something that brings all of this full circle, something already on record. In his memoir Spare, Prince Harry revealed that both he and William had serious concerns about Camilla long before all this. He even described how they saw her as a wicked stepmother and admitted they asked their father not to marry her. That's not speculation. That's coming directly from someone inside the family. And now, with everything happening, people are starting to look back at those words differently. A lot of royal watchers used to think all of this tension was just old history, something left behind. Time passed, and on the surface, things looked calm between Prince William and Queen Camilla. They showed up together, smiled for cameras, stood side by side at events like everything was perfectly fine. But let's be real. Smiling in public doesn't mean everything is good behind the scenes. Diplomacy is not the same as trust. And tolerance definitely isn't the same as respect. Royal author Christopher Anderson even pointed this out, saying William has only ever tolerated Camilla. That word matters. Tolerated, not trusted, not close, just tolerated. And according to him, Camilla has always seemed slightly uneasy around William, like she knows where she stands. Now with King Charles III dealing with serious health issues, the situation is getting tighter and more intense. Reports suggest Camilla has been trying to strengthen her influence before any major shift in power happens. And because of that, William's patience? It might be completely gone now. One royal advisor didn't hold back either. They claimed William is incandescent with rage over what's been happening. That's not mild frustration. That's full-on anger. Especially when it comes to claims that Camilla left Charles's side during a critical time to go on vacation. And here's where it gets even more serious. The same advisor said Camilla acts like she's untouchable, like she's the one running things inside the palace. That's a bold claim, but it explains why tensions are exploding the way they are. Because this isn't just about personal choices anymore. It's about power. There's a growing feeling that Camilla isn't just protecting her position. She's acting like the rules don't apply to her at all. Her close bond with Charles reportedly gives her a level of influence that goes beyond what many expected. Some insiders even claim she's been shaping key decisions, controlling access to the king, influencing how his health is presented, and guiding the narrative around the monarchy. If that's true, that's huge. Because it means William isn't just waiting to become king. He's dealing with someone actively shaping the system before he even gets there. From his perspective, this could look like a slow power grab. Not loud, not obvious, but steady and calculated. And for someone preparing to take the throne, that's a serious problem. Then there's another layer to this. The financial side. Reports have been circulating that Charles has already arranged strong financial and structural support for Camilla. And this isn't just random talk. Multiple sources have hinted at it. The idea is that once Charles passes, Camilla would still be heavily protected. She could keep major privileges, remain in key royal residences like Clarence House, and maintain a visible public role. That's a powerful position for someone who technically wouldn't be queen consort anymore. She would transition into what's known as Queen Dowager, still respected, still visible, still influential. Meanwhile, Catherine, Princess of Wales, would step into the role of Queen Consort. Now, the issue isn't whether this system exists, because it does. The real concern is how it's being used. Some believe Camilla is securing as much control as possible right now, while Charles is still able to approve it. Royal expert Joe Little even said that once William becomes king, every part of Camilla's life, public and private, will be examined closely. What does this current moment? It's crucial for her. And insiders think she knows that. That's why they believe she's moving carefully, making sure everything is locked in before any transition happens. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody can ignore. When does protecting your future cross the line into betrayal? And when does it stop being personal and start becoming a threat to the monarchy itself? For William, it seems like that line has already been crossed. And the damage isn't just between him and Camilla. It's affecting his relationship with his own father. Recent reports suggest that Charles and William are no longer speaking, not occasionally distant, completely estranged. That's not normal royal distance. That's something deeper, something painful. One headline even claimed the fallout between them is worse than the situation involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. That says a lot, because that family has already gone through years of tension, public drama, and separation. And now this? It's hitting even harder. This isn't about image anymore. It's real emotion, real frustration. A king and his heir completely out of sync. And right in the middle of it all is Camilla. Reports keep pointing back to her as a key reason for the breakdown. William reportedly believes she's more focused on protecting her own position than supporting Charles during one of the most difficult times of his life. That belief alone is enough to shake everything. He wanted his father, King Charles III, to slow everything down and focus on healing. That was the priority. But from William's point of view, things went in the complete opposite direction. Instead of rest and recovery, it looked like pressure, movement, and business as usual. And that didn't sit right with him at all. Former royal photographer Ian Pelham Turner even shared that rumors had been building for a while. According to him, William has been trying to position himself as a steady force behind the future of the throne, not for control, but for stability. But behind the scenes, that move reportedly didn't go down well. Because on the other side, Queen Camilla is said to have pushed back hard. Reports claim she told Charles to shut that idea down completely. So now you've got two completely different agendas clashing inside the same palace. Behind closed doors, this turns into something way deeper than public appearances. William is trying to protect his father and prepare for what's coming next, while Camilla reportedly frames his actions as power-hungry and disrespectful. That's a dangerous narrative to build. And right in the middle of all this tension, Charles himself. A father who still cares deeply about his son, but also stands by his wife. That puts him in an impossible position, pulled in two directions with no easy way out. The result? A father pushing back against his own son to defend his marriage, and a son feeling completely let down, not just by Camilla, but by his own father too. That kind of divide doesn't just fade away, it grows. Inside the palace, things are reportedly getting messy. Conflicting loyalties, different visions, and a major generational shift happening all at once. This isn't just family tension. This is the structure of the monarchy being tested in real time. And if these reports are even partly true, then the damage goes beyond reputation. It's not just about William's future as king. It's about something more personal. The bond between a father and son, breaking down during what could be Charles's final years. That hits hard. Now everything turns toward the big question. What happens next for Camilla when the crown finally passes? Because according to royal experts, the future might not look the way she expects. Once William becomes king, everything changes instantly. The power dynamic flips overnight. Royal author Christopher Anderson explained that Camilla's role could be completely redefined under William's rule, and royal commentator Joe Little made it even clearer. William would have full control over how much influence she keeps. As Queen Dowager, she would still hold status, but that doesn't guarantee power. William would decide everything, her duties, her access, her visibility. That's a huge shift from where things stand now. And insiders are already hinting that those decisions might not go in her favor. That's where things get serious. There's even talk that William is reconsidering a private agreement he once made with Charles. A deal that was supposed to protect Camilla in exchange for cooperation on family matters. If he walks away from that, everything changes instantly. Because that deal could be the only thing holding her current position together. Without it, the structure she's built could collapse faster than expected. Picture this. Camilla as Queen Dowager, living mostly away from the center of power at Ray Mill House, while the palace is now run by someone who once saw her as a wicked stepmother. That's a dramatic shift in control. Her access, her influence, even her daily role, all decided by the very person she reportedly tried to limit. That's not just irony. That's a complete reversal. In trying to secure her future, she may have created the exact situation she was trying to avoid. She aimed for stability, but may end up remembered for the conflict instead. And William? He's not unaware. He's been watching everything closely for years. When his time comes, he won't forget the decisions, the moves, or the tension that built up behind the scenes. With the emotional awareness of Princess Diana and the royal experience passed down from Charles, William isn't walking into this unprepared. If anything, he knows exactly how this system works. This whole situation reveals something deeper than headlines. A troubled marriage, a king battling illness while pressure builds around him, a power struggle that threatens the future of the monarchy, and a father-son divide that feels even heavier than the fallout involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. And now, Camilla, who allegedly fought so hard to secure her place, might be facing the one thing she couldn't control: accountability from the future king. And that's where things start getting even more intense. Because once you look past the headlines, you begin to see how deep this situation really goes. This isn't just about disagreements or personality clashes. This is about control, timing, and who holds real influence when everything shifts. Inside royal circles, people are quietly asking one big question: who is actually steering things right now? Because while King Charles III is still on the throne, the reports suggest there are multiple forces pulling in different directions. And that kind of pressure doesn't just disappear, it builds. For Prince William, this moment is critical. He's not just waiting for the crown, he's watching how everything is being handled before it gets to him. Every decision, every move, every reported influence, it all matters. Because once he steps in, he inherits not just the title, but the consequences too. And then there's the public side of this. Because people are paying attention more than ever. Social media, interviews from other channels talking, insider leaks. Everything is getting picked apart in real time. The royal image has always been about control and precision, but right now, that image feels like it's slipping. At the same time, Queen Camilla is still maintaining her position, still appearing in public, still holding her role like nothing has changed. And that contrast? It's what keeps people questioning everything. Because while the outside looks steady, the inside feels unstable. Some royal watchers believe this could be one of the most important turning points for the modern monarchy. Not because of one event, but because of everything happening at once. Health concerns, family tension, shifting power, and long-standing resentment all colliding at the same time. And let's not forget, William isn't stepping into this blindly. He's been around this system his entire life. He understands how influence works, how narratives are shaped, and how power can move quietly behind the scenes. So when his moment comes, it's not going to be a surprise. It's going to be calculated. That's why some believe the real shift hasn't even happened yet. It's still building. The current situation might just be the setup for something bigger. Because once the crown officially passes, everything changes instantly. Roles, control, access, all of it. And for Camilla, that moment could define everything. Because if the reports are even partly true, then the position she worked years to secure could suddenly become uncertain. Not gone completely, but limited, controlled, and reshaped under a new reign. At the end of the day, this isn't just about who stands where in the palace. It's about legacy. Who protected it, who challenged it, and who reshaped it when the pressure was highest. And right now, that story is still unfolding in real time. And when everything settles, when the noise fades just enough to see things clearly, one truth starts standing out more than anything else. This isn't just another royal situation that will quietly disappear. This feels like a defining moment. Because what's happening right now isn't just about King Charles III, Prince William, or Queen Camilla as individuals. It's about the future direction of the entire monarchy. And moments like this, they don't come often. You've got a king dealing with serious health challenges, still trying to hold everything together while expectations keep piling up. That alone would be enough pressure for anyone. But then add the reported tension inside the family, the whispers of influence, the questions about loyalty, and suddenly it becomes something much heavier. At the same time, you have William stepping closer and closer to his moment, not rushing, not forcing it, but watching everything unfold carefully. And that patience? It's what makes this situation even more serious. Because when someone waits, observes, and remembers, their response later tends to be very deliberate. And then there's Camilla, still standing in her position, still moving within the system, still holding on to the role she fought so long to secure. But now, every move she makes is being looked at differently. Every appearance, every decision, every reported action, it all carries more weight than before. That's what makes this moment feel so unpredictable. Because on the surface, everything is still functioning. The royal schedule continues, appearances are made, statements are controlled, but underneath, there's a sense that something is shifting, and the public can feel it too. People aren't just watching casually anymore. They're analyzing, questioning, connecting dots. What used to stay behind palace walls now finds its way into discussions everywhere. And once that happens, it's hard to put things back the way they were. There's also something else that makes this situation different: history. Because this family has already gone through major fractures before. The fallout involving Prince Harry and Meghan Markle changed how people see the monarchy forever. It showed that even the most controlled institution can face very public challenges. Now, with reported tension between Charles and William, it feels like another chapter of that same story. But even closer to the core, this isn't a distant branch of the family. This is the direct line of succession, and that's why every detail matters right now. Because whatever happens next doesn't just affect personal relationships, it shapes how the monarchy will function moving forward. If William takes the throne with these tensions unresolved, it could lead to immediate changes. Not loud, dramatic moves, but calculated decisions. Adjustments in roles, access, influence, all quietly reshaping the structure. And if Camilla has been working to secure her position, as some reports suggest, then that future becomes even more uncertain. Because once power shifts, priorities shift too. And what was once protected can suddenly be questioned. That's the reality of a system built on hierarchy and tradition. It moves slowly, but when it moves, it's decisive. At the center of all this is something even more human: trust. Because beyond titles and positions, this situation keeps coming back to one thing: who trusts who anymore? A father caught between his wife and his son. A son questioning the decisions happening around his father, and a stepmother whose actions are being viewed through a lens of suspicion. That kind of dynamic doesn't just resolve overnight. And yet, despite all of this, the monarchy continues. That's what makes it so fascinating. No matter how much pressure builds, the system keeps moving forward. Events happen, duties are carried out, the public image stays intact, at least on the surface. But moments like this, they leave a mark. They shape decisions that come later. They influence how relationships evolve, or break completely. And when the transition finally happens, when William becomes king, that's when the real impact of everything we're seeing now will fully reveal itself. Because he won't just be stepping into a role, he'll be stepping into a situation already filled with history, tension, and unfinished business. And how does he choose to handle that? That's what will define the next era of the monarchy. Will he rebuild those fractured relationships? Or draw clear lines moving forward? Will he maintain what's been put in place, or quietly change the system from within? Those answers aren't here yet, but the groundwork is being laid right now. And for Camilla, for Charles, for William, every decision made in this moment could echo far into the future. This isn't just a story about what's happening today, it's about what comes next. And one thing is certain: people will be watching every step of the way.